What's going on, guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Unintended Podcast. I'm here with Matthew once again. Hello, Matthew.
Hey Jay, what's up?
Nothing. We had a pretty cool first episode, I think.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, I definitely
It
enjoyed it,
was
and
fun.
I'm definitely and we're definitely gonna continue with this.
Yeah,
It's so fun.
it's been fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. So, Matthew, for today, we have picked a topic which is pretty common for people to talk about these days. It's future technology.
Oh, that's great.
So let's begin with a very simple question that many people ask each other. What are you the most excited for the future?
In the future, well,
Yeah,
that's
what technology excites you the most?
the most.
Or at least what potential
Yeah,
technology
something.
excites you the most?
I don't know. Does excitement include maybe a fear of something,
It
or it
could
doesn't
be.
matter?
It could be. Any emotion for that matter.
Let's see. Well, I know electric cars are on a big thing now, so they're a growing technology right now with Tesla and
Yeah.
everything. Everybody's trying to make electric cars, but Tesla recently actually announced their new chip, which makes all their cars completely autonomous, so they can drive on their own.
Ooh.
So
Damn, but
that's actually pretty nice. I don't know. It's like 2019
I
and
don't know.
it's pretty sick.
From the two of us, I'm not the one with the driver's license. It's you.
Yeah.
Don't you think that it's gonna be I don't know. Don't you think like there could be errors? Like, can the automatic car like stop if there's a person in front of it, and or the person just appears?
I think that the technologies come to a point where the computer inside each car, with all the cameras and all the sensors that they're equipped with, I think everything can be predicted, which I think that's what the technology aims to, like to predict everything, and they're doing a pretty good job at testing everything out. I mean, they have working demos at the moment, and I think soon they're gonna embark on putting it in every Tesla car they make. It's like a payable option. You can get a fully autonomous car. But I think
That's
it's gonna
actually
be,
amazing.
yeah, I think it's gonna be just available now in in America, in the United States, and
Mm-hmm.
then later on it might be released onto Europe and Asia, like the other markets.
All right. So
That's pretty
will you
interesting.
still? I would suppose that you would still need a driver's license even to buy a car with an autopilot.
Um, at the moment, I'd assume yeah, because you need to. Cause now they do have that autopilot which you need to hold the steering wheel from time to time, so it's not
Yeah.
clearly fully autonomous. But the thing which they showed on in that presentation, which was I think it was a week or two ago, I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
was fully autonomous. You just put in the coordinates where you want to go, like on the GPS. The car knows where it is. You just input the location where you want to go, and it goes and it takes you. It does everything you need. So maybe now you'd still need a driving license, but maybe in 5 years, you might not even need a driving license to own
Quite
a
possibly.
self-driving car. Yeah,
Yeah,
technology is
and
moving so
after
fast.
even a couple of more years, judging by how fast technology with car goes, maybe who knows? You're gonna have to have a flying car license.
All flying cars, that's my dream ever since I
You
was
know,
small.
because electric cars are becoming a big thing, and
Yeah.
through my logic, by using electricity, you can create possibly an electromagnetic field with the roads somehow. I don't know
Yeah,
how,
but then the roads would
and
need
maybe
to
the
be
car
changed
could
in a way.
hover. Well, that's a
So,
beginning in
yeah,
some
yeah,
way.
in a way. Yeah. I mean,
Or maybe people can somehow utilize the magnetic poles to propel the car a little bit up, not much,
yeah, that'd be
until
interesting,
we
maybe an air
create,
cushion or something
yeah,
that's.
until we create like air highways and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
But
and
that's
big
that's
tall
quite far in
buildings.
the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think,
we
yeah.
so
Well,
we can live in that big utopia crescent like in Star Wars.
yeah, that's actually a dream, you know. It looks like it looks so futuristic and it's so interesting.
By
But
the way, do you have any idea why there cannot be like electric trucks? Or is it just because the electric power cannot support like the
actually,
massiveness of the truck? Or is there?
speaking about electric trucks, Tesla has an electric truck as well. They're I think they still haven't made it publicly, but they've announced it and they've shown it. So you can't. They will sell an electric truck in.
Damn.
I think it's 2020, maybe beginning of the 2020. Yeah, I think it's the
Holy
beginning of
moly!
2020.
So next step is the electric planes.
Electric
So
planes?
most planes would stop to pollute
I
the
don't know
air
about
like
that.
they do.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make planes just yet electric because they go
Yeah,
they
that's
run
gonna
slow.
take a while.
But the Tesla truck is called the Tesla Semi, and I think they're gonna start selling them and making them into production in 2020.
But that's actually pretty close.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's 2019, so I don't know. Practically
Speaking of
anything's possible.
close, the new PlayStation 4, maybe soon,
You mean
maybe
the five?
2021,
Oh yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I'm actually thinking on buying that one when it releases.
I mean, finally, you've been the only one who doesn't have the PlayStation 4, so
Oh yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we can start playing games
Together,
on the
maybe.
PlayStation.
About time. I don't know.
As
I
far as I know, they announced that the PlayStation 4 is going to be compatible with the PlayStation. PlayStation 5 is going to be compatible with the PlayStation 4 games, something which PlayStation 4 was lacking.
oh
So
there
this is
was
a
not
very
backwards
good news.
compatible from the previous generations.
Yeah.
Because I think they removed that. I think with PlayStation 3. I'm not sure because before you could play PlayStation 1 games on the PS2,
Yeah.
but
You couldn't play PlayStation 1 games on the
yeah,
PS3,
no, they
but I'm
removed
not
that.
sure if you could play PS2 games on the
I
PS3.
think
I don't
they
think you
removed the
could.
backwards
Yeah.
compatibility. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah, it sounds interesting because they got some specs like leaked, and there was the Grand Theft Auto 5, oh 6, sorry, leaked. Like a developer or somebody leaked some parts of the game and like part of the storyline. And they were talking about that the game was gonna be too powerful, too energy consuming to run on current generations because current generation um, game consoles like the PS4 and the Xbox One X and whatever, they're not as powerful as game manufacturers want them to be, so they
Mm-hmm.
don't run on full specs. So now you can have like the
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 Pro, which says you can play any game in 4K, but you'll probably have shit frame rates, like maybe
Yeah.
less than 30. So they were saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 will run on the new generations.
Which is, I think, the ninth generation? Yeah, I think that's correct. I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be the ninth generation console.
Hmm. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Just imagine how powerful it can be since the PlayStation 4 released, I think, November 2013, which is
Was it 13?
6 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think, yeah,
I
it
think it
was
was. It was a
2013.
while ago.
It was a long while ago, and it's still every single new game currently is still made to so that the PS4 can power it,
Yeah.
and it looks amazing even with the constantly progressing graphics.
Oh
It
yeah.
looks
Indeed,
amazing.
I can agree with that. But what they're saying is that the new consoles will have even more power, so everything will run a lot smoother and a lot nicer.
Yeah, I would
Graphics will be
suppose it
better.
would.
Everything will
Yeah, I
just
would
look
suppose.
a lot nicer. And I
I would suppose that on the new consoles, every single game is going to have the 4K possibility.
oh, I think it's gonna be just standard. But I think they're trying to push everybody having a 4K panel, so you can play the games, which I don't think
Hmm.
many people can afford. Cause
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people can afford a 4K.
yeah, 4K is like it's getting to a point. where like 1080p is full HD is already like massively popular, so everybody just gets a 1080p screen because it's full HD, you know.
Yeah.
But not many people want a better panel because they don't see the reason to spend more money. So
Yeah, and
that's
I would suppose with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 being Sony, they do make TV screens as well
yeah,
and
yeah,
other aperture to watch things and play things on. So I would suppose if they create more 4K games, they directly support themselves, or at least the other branches with the that sell televisions, because you want to play these games on the 4K, so you have to buy a new TV screen,
yeah,
even though it's expensive.
yeah. Well, I think they're becoming more and more affordable, though. You know, it takes time for a technology to become more affordable. It's like with the electric cars at first. So back when Tesla launched, I think that was in 2002 or something. Correct. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. In like the early 2000s, Tesla launched with one car, which is called the Roadster,
Hmm.
and it was very, very expensive. But the whole idea of launching that car with that price tag was to fund the next car which they were gonna make, which
Hmm.
was supposed to be no, it was actually. So they made the Roadster, which they sold a couple of, and they made some money to make to fund the next project, which was I think the Model S, which is a luxury car, luxury electric car, which actually they sold a lot of these cars, and that's their plan pretty much to make cars in order to fund the next model. So that's what they did, and now they're making a Model 3, which they announced I think a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, which is massively affordable for everybody. So it's like the starting price is $35,000.
Yeah, compared to some other cars that,
So yeah, so it's not a Ford. It's not like a $10,000 Ford, but it's an
yeah,
electric car, and it's $35,000 for
yeah,
an electric car.
considering what the average of a the average cost of a brand new car, which is relatively decent
Oh yeah, yeah,
and modern, the 35K isn't really that big of a price to pay
oh
for an
yeah,
electric car,
and
which is also gonna look pretty much as modern as one can can hope for.
oh yeah, they look very modern. They have these panoramic roofs. They have the doors and the electric and the Tesla fast charging and everything. So it's like a good. It's a great price actually for the car. You know, you just need to have
Yeah.
the 35K in order to buy the base model, but they're increasing range. They're doing everything. They're like upgrading it. I don't know. Elon Musk is a Tony Stark of our time.
Yeah,
He's
hopefully
doing
one day
massive
we're
things.
gonna watch. Hopefully one day we're gonna watch him fly in a in an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. Well, he's making rockets, so he wants to go to
He's
Mars.
going there. He's going
He's
there.
getting there. Maybe one day. I don't know. Can you imagine in 5 or 6 years, people may live on Mars? Can you imagine that?
Actually, as far as I know, or as far as I remember, there is already several, let's say, colonists, but they're still not there. So, well, let's say they are colonists for now. Which one of them is a woman, and then I cannot remember who the rest were. But the plan is to send them to live permanently on Mars and see. Well, this is gonna sound grim, but the idea is to see how long will they survive on Mars. But obviously, the idea is that they can permanently stay on Mars, and they will permanently stay on Mars. But for how long depends on whether they can survive. And I think the journey to there was 7 years with the current technology, which is a lot. It is definitely a lot.
Is that a project by NASA or something?
I can't remember. I think I would suppose it's NASA
Hmm.
because I don't think SpaceX is doing researches on that particular topic.
Well, they've actually have it as planned, but they're still testing their reusable rockets.
Yeah, I remember that the leader of these colonists was a woman. I cannot remember how many men or women are in the colonist team,
Mm.
but I do remember it was a woman, and I read an article about her, in which in which people asked her, "Why would you do that?" And she said, "Because this is it's basically like exploring the sea, but on a grander scale."
Yeah.
Which really excited me as well because it's Mars, it's space. We have no idea what lies in space. We
Yeah.
have no idea
Beyond.
what lies on in the oceans as
Yeah. To
well.
be honest, yeah, we've like only like researched what was it like 3 or 5% of wildlife
Yeah, there is
in the
so
oceans.
much unexplored things both on Earth and in space,
Yeah,
and
it's true.
people are. I remember the scene from the Pacific Rim
Oh,
where the main character said, "We always wondered where they are, looking up at the stars, but we were looking at the wrong." No, what was it? I can't remember the exact quote.
yeah,
But
I
the
don't
idea
know
was
for.
that we were looking up when we should have looked down.
Yeah,
Uh, and I think technologies are obviously made to research depths and stuff. And I
yeah.
recently uh, not we, but the humans. Okay, that sounds like I'm an alien.
Okay.
uh, Basically, there was a research conducted in the Mariana Trench, which has never been done before. And like Mariana Trench is like one of the deepest.
It is the deepest, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the deepest zones. And as far as I know, there was a drone sent to the bottom of it, and I cannot remember whether it caught any images. I think it did, and I think it saw like in this massive. Well, it wasn't massive. It was like a very, very, very long uh, starfish.
Mm.
No, it wasn't a starfish. What are they called? Where they sting you? I can't remember.
Stingray, or is it like a squid
No,
or something?
yeah, the very slimy, jelly-looking
Jellyfish?
things. Yeah,
Oh,
jellyfish. It was a really, really long jellyfish
oh.
with like 5, I think, or 12 meters of like sting things,
Yeah, the stings.
tentacles,
Yeah.
which is amazing that after so many years, after technology bursting out for the last 200 years, we just now got to get to the bottom of the Mariana Trench where we have already had people on the moon.
Yeah, it's true.
It's actually amazing.
Yeah, it's true. Like people want to go in outer space when we still have much to learn about, our own planet. Like we still haven't researched everything.
Exactly.
You know.
We don't even know what's on the entire bottom of the sea.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Like
But then
there could
speaking about
be
it,
Godzilla somewhere
yeah,
sleeping, you know,
or megalodon. You never know.
or Megalodon. Yeah.
Well,
Hopefully,
that's what they
hopefully,
say
if it,
at the bottom of the Mariner Trench. It's like, it's the pressure is so high and it's so deep that sunlight doesn't even get there. So, the creatures there are pretty fucked up.
yeah, they're probably like these. There's probably a massive leviathan, just like in the cartoon Atlantic City. I cannot remember what it was called. It was a very old movie. Anyway, this just like massive leviathan, and we're never gonna explore it because we're too keen on going to space,
Going to space, yeah. But thinking
which is so
about it,
strange.
like space is a lot bigger in like a
It is.
grand scale because you have different galaxies, you have different systems and stuff like that. While here you have, the bottom of the ocean. That's cool. But I think I see where people are finding, the thrive to explore because, there's not going to be like, oh, there is going to be another chance to go. But what I'm saying is like the I think everybody's doing it for the bigger scale because you can research I think the bottom of the ocean any day practically, because it's
Yeah,
on our
fair enough.
planet. So
But why not do it? It's like you're going to space where there is low gravity, and it is never safe because you have no idea what to expect there,
True.
and because it's space, because the rules are different in
Yeah,
space
you
than
just don't
they
know.
are here on
Yeah.
Earth. And the sea is pretty much the same. You're basically low gravity because you're under the sea,
Yeah. Pressure is high
and
though.
the
So
pressure, exactly, the rules that apply at the bottom of the sea are completely different than the rules that apply here to us.
yeah, that's true.
And why not just explore everything that there is to explore on our planet? And who knows, maybe there will be something that can boost your research for space. Maybe at the bottom of the sea lies Atlantis,
Atlantis.
and maybe there are technologies in the hidden city that will boost current humanity technologies.
Yeah. You never
Who
know.
knows?
Yeah. They were. I think they're still searching for Atlantis. I don't know. Some people were saying that they found Atlantis in the Black Sea.
Hopefully
No,
one
no,
day
they
we'll.
really were. They really were stating it. It was interesting. But you never know because it might be, just a myth. It might be reality. We don't know because we have
We
not been
don't
there.
know. We
But I
can only
think,
hope. I personally hope. I pray to every god that Atlantis one day reveals itself. Not in a major way, because that would completely that would completely butcher most countries, especially the Netherlands.
yeah,
Sorry if anyone from the
true.
Netherlands. But everyone knows you guys are living under the sea level, so you guys will be pretty pissed if Atlantis comes out of the sea.
Yeah, might as well. But yeah, if you think about it, what's more interesting to you? Do you want to explore the bottom of the ocean or do you want to explore space? I mean,
True enough. True enough. Space is definitely the
it's
more interesting
yeah, it's
concept.
more interesting. It's more intriguing. Like people want to know what's beyond the stars because anywhere you go and you look up, you see stars. But see, if you go like anywhere else and
D-
you look down, you don't see an ocean. You see the Earth. So
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
I mean, maybe that's what
Maybe
drives people.
one day, which brings me to another topic. Maybe one day we will have an AI smart enough to actually explore the ocean for us, and hopefully hopefully reveal its secrets to us and not keep it to themselves,
No,
and then usurp us and take over the planet, you know.
please, Mr.
But
AI, if you're listening, we're good people. Some of
yeah,
us.
which brings me to the topic of AI. Since this episode is for technologies, AI. What do you think about AI? Because there are the two options: either people love the idea of an AI, or they are scared of the idea of AI. What do you think?
Well, depends. Are we gonna like integrate AI into ourselves, into like our bodies, like have parts of us connected, like having a chip, in our neck inserted to connect with the internet or the great AI or whatever? Or are we just gonna have it like a robot or a thing? It really
I don't know.
depends.
This is a great question because I'm an absolutely massive fan of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
And there is this AI in the game who is called Sam. I cannot remember the entire abbreviation, what it meant.
Yeah.
But the idea of Sam is that he is connected to the neurocells of the main character. So Sam can enhance the main character.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is that there is this symbiote relationship between an artificial intelligence and a human. The artificial intelligence sees everything through the eyes of the human and learns off of this. And in exchange, it boosts everything for the human. It
Mm.
boosts hearing, it can tense muscles to make the human stronger,
Yeah.
it can provide it with tactical information about everything because it's an AI. It's obviously going to be smarter.
So it can predict everything.
Yeah, so this is one of the concepts. But let's say for the AIs we currently have, for example, DeepMind AI, the Google, no, not the Google one. Was it the Google one, the DeepMind?
No, it's actually owned by Elon Musk.
Yeah. So since we both play games, DeepMind AI played a Dota game
Yeah.
against the best at the time Dota team and won. So
No,
and
I think it lost.
DeepMind is self-learning.
I think it lost in a team game, like when it was five AIs versus five people. I think then it lost.
I cannot remember.
But in 1v1s, it beat everybody.
Yeah, at one in 1v1s it was pretty
I think
strong.
so. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
But
Cause
just imagine the concept of an AI learning from itself.
oh yeah, they that's how they programmed it. They actually made the AI play versus itself for so it played versus itself in I think it was like the amount a normal human would play like a game or games against other people like 2000 years, and it cramped that in like under 2 weeks. It played that amount of time versus itself. So it played like 2000
Yeah.
years of us humans just playing. So it practically knows what to expect in any type and
But
shit.
doesn't this thought of an AI being able to do this kind of stuff? I mean, obviously it was programmed to do this only for Dota
Yeah.
and for the game.
Oh, it's a
I
start.
mean, on top of my mind, I can recall Alpha Star playing StarCraft 2 against a professional. It lost, but the idea was the same, that the AI played against itself
Oh
to
yeah.
learn how to play the game.
I think that's the best
But
way you could learn
yeah,
something.
exactly. But doesn't this scare you? Like, imagine if this is coded to learn everything this way.
Well, well, that's I don't know. I don't think the technology at the moment can support that, but in the near future, yeah, it could. I think it could, but I'm not really scared because I think everybody's pretty scared of like the uprising of technology and stuff like that. So we've been using it and been treating it badly, but I don't think it's gonna take that step, that turn.
Hmm. What about if the AI basically? Do you remember the film, the movie Prometheus?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, we cannot talk about films because someone might not have watched it, and
Oh.
it's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah. Oh
Spoilers.
well.
Well,
Yeah.
let's say it like this. Spoiler alert: if you have not watched Prometheus, please mute the stream. No, actually, I'm gonna include in the video timestamp to actually when we stop talking about Prometheus, so you won't get spoiled anything.
It's a good idea.
But if you have not watched it, click on the timestamp right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So in Prometheus, you remember the AI? I can't remember. Dave. I think it was called
Was
Dave.
it Dave? I'm not really sure.
Uh, let's say it was Dave.
Okay.
Dave the AI. So there, the Dave really thought about it because he was created by this ultra genius, right?
Mhm.
And he basically came to the conclusion that humans, the creators, they went to find the creators of the humans, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the Dave was translating what the alien that they found was talking,
Yeah.
and basically the alien was sent to kill humans because humans made the mistake of the makers, which is to create another life form.
Yeah.
And
David.
humans created the life form Dave,
Yeah.
which was an AI. And the makers thought that this is a failed project, that humans are a failed project because they started creating life of their own. They basically became gods to another species. And
Practically.
Dave realized that. And then in the next movie, I think it was called Alien Covenant.
Yeah. Yeah. An Alien Covenant. It came out
Yeah,
like
and
pretty recently.
Dave was isolated and he did the same. He created another
A
life
new life
form
form.
that annihilated all the humans. I mean,
Pretty much. Yeah.
obviously, Dave. I mean, doesn't this thought scare you?
Well, no, I don't think like people are. I don't think technology is still at that point where we can create, like AI robots. I think this is like the the sphere in which we haven't really excelled much since, maybe the early '90s and early '20s. Because robots, you don't see robots really like walking down the street or anything. You see people do like what do we have? We have smartphones right now. We have tablets. We have
Yeah.
this type of so-called robot or tech. We have computers. We have everything is doing there. But the only robots we have, which are working, are like in productions, like car manufacturing um, warehouses. So like they're not like robots like we see in movies, not like
Yeah,
android-like.
definitely.
So I think we're quite, a, a bit away from the Detroit Become Human part,
Yeah.
of androids and stuff like that. No, there
Yeah.
was actually this Sophia or
Yeah,
Zofia.
Sophia. Yeah, I remember about Sophia. She
Yeah.
was the AI that could talk,
Yeah, and I
the
think
best
she
talking
even got
AI.
citizenship in Dubai, which is quite strange. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is that she's programmed to do those things. She's not an AI. She doesn't understand things. She's programmed to answer simple questions. So it's not
True, but
really
what if one day they
something.
program her to learn?
Well, that's one day. I don't know. I mean, I am
Yeah.
actually. I think the closest thing we have to a living AI, so called, I think could be the Google Assistant, which we all have on our phones. Google had a press conference. I think it was maybe a year ago. I'm not sure, but around a year ago, where they showed an upgraded version of Google Assistant, which we all know we have on our Android
Yeah.
phones. You can
Yeah.
have it on your Apple phone; it doesn't matter. But you talk and ask simple questions, and it answers. That's what we have, like at the moment. You ask, you go, you say the line, "Okay, Google," and you get, and you ask a question like, "What's the weather like?" And it tells you
Yeah.
what's the weather anywhere in the world. But now, what they showed in that press conference is, you can ask your personal assistant, "Can you make me, like, I want to get a haircut at 5 p.m. Sunday?" So the AI would get the number of the place you want to go, will call, it will talk to the person who picks up the phone there, and make an appointment for you for the given time you've said. And
That's pretty creepy.
yeah, and it was funny because they showed it real time. It called a hair salon place. The woman had no idea she was talking with a robot. The robot was doing like people things, like saying thinking stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the human would not even realize that it was, well, not a robot, but it was like a program talking to it. So we're getting somewhere there with the software, but the hardware is, I think, a
Definitely.
while away.
Well, hopefully it's gonna stay a while away.
Well, we never know. Like, we want to go to Mars now, so that's the
Yeah.
first thing we want to do.
And if we go to Mars, judging by Mass Effect Andromeda, this might prove to be a very bad thing. Just saying, people.
Well, I think they found water on Mars, and they found living species like microbes in the water.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't know.
like
You never know.
historically, Mars was a sister planet to Earth. It looked
Yeah,
basically the same.
that's true.
It had oceans, it had atmosphere, it had mountains and everything like Earth. But eventually, I guess it died out.
Yeah, I think what they're gonna try and do is, after the first couple of colonies settle down in Mars, I think they are going to want to terraform it in a way,
Hmm.
because there are gases in the atmosphere, I think, or was it in the ground. I'm not really sure, which could be used as fuel for the rockets.
Hmm.
So they could actually, I don't know. I'm not good in chemistry. I was never good in chemistry.
Yeah.
But they were gonna want to do something so they can change the atmosphere so it could become breathable. So you could grow things there. You could live without wearing a
Hmm.
helmet and a costume, stuff like that. So So that's kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. And what about teleportation?
Okay, okay. It's either okay. There people will say two things about that. So either it's never going to be created, or it's like a far away from being created, or some people will state that the government's created it, but they're hiding it from people. So I'm still thinking that it hasn't nobody's thought about it, or nobody's really thought about how it would work and how you could do it. So I don't know.
So fun story. Um, Basically, teleportation in current days is technically not impossible. There are a few problems though. I recently watched a very good science documentary about teleportation specifically, and that's why I asked you because I was curious as to what do you think. And it turns out that okay, the people in the documentary explained it in a lot more scientific way, but since I'm not a scientist, I'm very far from that. I will try to explain it in a very simple, not realistic sounding way.
Okay.
So basically, the concept of teleportation in current days is that um, in the laws of physics, if two neutrons or two atoms, if you know um, both of the no, it's not atoms, molecules. If you know the structure of both molecules, those molecules will always stay at a specific location, no matter how far we are. We know the structure of the molecule.
Mm.
That means that we are connected with this molecule. And for a simpler explanation of this thing, just imagine uh, a Big Mac from McDonald's. If it's put into the Big Mac box, you do not know whether the Big Mac is in that box, and thus the Big Mac does not exist still until you open the box.
Oh, you mean
When
something
you
like
open,
Schrodinger's box or cat?
kind of.
Yeah, like that concept.
So basically, when you open the box, you now know that there is a Big Mac in that box, and now no matter how far away in the universe you are, you will always know that there is a Big Mac in this box, and it will always stay there. So the way that teleportation of humans will work is that you can terraform a human and then transform it back again in a different place, since you know every single molecule of the body of the human
Yeah.
and where it stays with what structure.
Mm-hmm.
The bad side to this though is that basically every time you teleport from one place to another, it basically means that you are committing a suicide and then you're
Or
reassembling,
you're reincarnated afterwards.
which is basically not you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Since it cannot transfer like it just
Consciousness and stuff
disintegrates
like
you
that.
and it examines every single molecule in your body and then reconstructs this at a different place.
Because
So this
people
is the
will.
only way to teleport in current days,
Yeah.
which is basically committing a murder
Pretty
and
much.
then creating something new. So
Because
there you
some
go,
people won't
people.
agree with that because they say consciousness is not in the body. You know, it's different. You know, some people
Yeah,
are
as well as the
very
soul.
religious. Yeah,
Yeah,
soul and
exactly,
consciousness
exactly.
can't
But
travel.
this is the current concept of teleportation. Who
Yeah.
knows? One day in the future, we might actually
I
be
don't
able
think
to
we're
not
really
kill people.
looking about like teleportation. I don't know. I think
Uh,
you can get pretty much anywhere from any point in the planet
That is true.
to
That
the
is
other
true.
part of the
But
planet in
when
like
the
less
day
than
is
12 hours.
very hot, you're at university and you really do not want to stay in the public transport
Oh yeah,
to completely die in sweat.
yeah,
You just want to teleport home next to your bed and just lay down and
yeah.
never wake up.
Well, to be honest, I really want to wake up. You know.
Yeah, I would like to wake up as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think though space travel is interesting. You know, I think China recently made a molecule. I think it reached the speed of light, or it was close. So the Chinese are doing something. You know?
They are doing something. But the Chinese are always doing something, aren't they?
Yeah, true. True.
Speaking about teleportation, another way of well, it's not really terrible teleportation, but another way to be at a different place which is very far away from you is holograms.
I think.
And recently we watched Endgame
Oh
Avengers,
yeah.
and the concept of holograms was in there, which
Another spoiler
it has
alert.
always been there. It's not a
Yeah,
spoiler.
not
I
really.
think there was
Yeah, it was
in
in
the
many
other
other
movies as well.
Marvel
Yeah.
films. Yeah.
So, what do you think about holograms? Are we gonna see a Yu-Gi-Oh universe where the monsters are gonna be holograms?
Um, I really don't want to break your dreams because I know how much you like Yu-Gi-Oh and you like that
Don't do it.
concept of an
Don't
idea.
do it.
But I think after like the 90s and early early 90s and late 80s, I think after the Star Wars movies and everything, I don't think we're looking to make holograms because we do have the technology, and what we've made with the technology was in Japan they made a pop star, which is a hologram, which
Yeah.
sells out like a whole stadium for Japanese people to buy. If anyone's wondering what her name is, it's Hatsune Miku. You can probably buy a concert ticket now. She's a hologram. She's called a Vocaloid. But I don't see why we would want to make holograms. Like, we've all seen Iron Man, the movie, and everything, and I think everybody would love a table which they can like pick up and do whatever the hell they want with anything. They could design an arm or make a costume or make a robot. Yeah, we'd all want that, but I don't think we're gonna see that. Either we're not gonna see it anytime soon, or we will never see it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think the reason why we wouldn't see it like being a top priority is because there are a lot more practical ways to do things.
Oh yeah, I think.
I do know that there is a hologram keyboard for a computer
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
is
They're
invented
actually
by.
infrared.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they just project on a flat surface, and wherever your fingers are, it detects with I think with a camera where you're clicking, and it inputs it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
So you know, it's in a way a hologram, but not really. I mean, I think everybody would
Well,
want like a
it's
watch where the person pops out
yeah,
and you
definitely,
talk
definitely.
to it, but I don't think we're looking at that at the moment. I think everybody's like looking at medicine and space. I think that's what currently technology is going. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people when they have practical solutions to a problem, I think they're gonna use that practical solution for as long as possible. But
Oh,
in the meantime, they will continuously work to uncover something they do not know,
oh yeah, for sure.
which
It's like
is a
with the
really,
smartphone.
yeah, it's a really good gift. This,
Yeah, because when Steve Jobs created, I think yeah, it was him. I think it was when he created the first iPhone, which was back in 2008, which is 11 years ago. It was never seen until then. But ever since then, every company's tried to make something better each year. So in that way, that's improving. That's what people want and
exactly,
people buy. Whilst if you let's say people are funding for cancer research and stuff like that, but I don't think most people are really interested in that part. Like, don't get me wrong, I really want to find a cure for cancer and a cure for all the diseases which
yeah,
are a burden on our planet at the moment and future ones. But I don't think many people really, if they don't have that disease, the vast majority of people
definitely.
are not
That's
really
definitely,
interested in that. I mean, the people
definitely,
who like support those campaigns are either rich, have somebody or have lost somebody to cancer or any type of disease, and I think those are the people that really want to fix that part of the world. I think every
or
other normal person that has nothing to do with that, I don't think they really look at it in that way. So If somebody
Yeah,
finds a use of it and people want to do it, I think that's when um, the technology will become a thing.
yeah. I
They'll
think
make
I
it and
think
they'll do
every
it.
person wants to find the cure for cancer
Yeah,
and
everybody
for
will
every
say that,
disease.
but I don't
Yeah,
know if anybody will do it.
no, I think everybody really wants it, but I don't think exactly like you said that if you do not have a particular case of a cancer person in your family,
You
I
wouldn't
don't
really be
think,
interested in like
yeah, I
how
don't
is it
think
gonna
you
happen?
would, yeah, I don't think you are going to be one of those people who follow the progression of the creation of the cure
Oh
for
yeah, yeah.
cancer.
I think there was, I think they made like a vaccine or something, which was in like in like not America or China or like these big places, but I think they found something that could potentially cure cancer. I don't know. I think I'm speaking it off the top of my head, but
Hmm.
it was like like a second or third world country where like nothing happens, like technology is shit
Hopefully,
and everything's
hopefully.
shit. But I think they did that, so that's something to look at. But
Yeah, hopefully.
you never know. Like people want the new iPhone, the new whatever. Nobody really wants to see that done. But if there is people,
I think they want to see it done,
yeah,
but I don't
they'd
think
like
they
to see it
will.
done, but they won't do
Yeah, I
anything to
don't think
do
they
that.
will. Yeah, exactly. I don't think they will keep a close
Oh yeah,
eye of a watch
yeah,
to see when it's gonna be done.
yeah. I think actually recently they because we're on the topic of medicine, I think recently was the first head transplant.
Oh.
I think so, though I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I was reading an article about I think it was this Russian doctor who had the idea and who previously did it with, if I'm not mistaken, a rat or so. And there was this person who was disabled. Everything, he couldn't use any part of his body under his like neck or under his head, so he could only use his head, which to be honest is pretty sad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think he agreed to do that. So his head would be detached and attached to a so-called dead body or something, to like somebody who doesn't need his body anymore. I think it was a dead body in like minus temperatures. So something with like cryogenic freezing and stuff like that, which that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like,
I find it creepy, but I'm glad you find it interesting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, it's creepy because like you've seen it in movies like cryogenic freezing, and you
Yeah.
freeze yourself now, and in a
Oh
hundred
no, I
years you
was
wake
talking
up and
about
stuff like
the.
that.
I was talking
Oh, you
about
mean the
decapitating
oh yeah,
people and then transplanting
yeah.
it to another body. That
I don't
I
know if
just.
I don't know if they
Uh,
did it though. I think it was
I
just
mean,
talk.
hopefully they did because otherwise, just imagine how awkward, in a very very bad way, it will look, just to cut off someone's head
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then
It was not.
fail an
Yeah,
operation. Then you're left with with a headless body
I mean,
in one
the
hand and
guy
then
said
a head
that
in
he
another.
had nothing else to lose. Like he couldn't use his body, so
Yeah,
like that's kind of like the best thing he could do for himself. It's either that or he
yeah,
already died.
definitely,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
but yeah, cryogenic freezing. I think people have already frozen themselves, but the thing is, that technology, which was yeah, I think this is another part of technology which was famous in like the early 80s and 70s,
Or at
80s,
least the
90s.
concept of it.
Yeah, the concept, yeah. And they were doing some researches, and people already froze themselves. So they already froze themselves without. We don't know how to do it. Like humans have no concept of how to
Yeah,
cryogenically
yeah,
freeze and do whatever and maintain bodies and shit like that. But people already stuck themselves in a freezer, and they said, fuck it, somebody will figure this out at some point in time, and we will get unfrozen then. But I don't think we're gonna do it because nobody really cares about that. So maybe there is like a handful
if
of
we
people.
decide to travel to some very very distant stars when
Oh yeah, it might be.
one day there are no resources in the solar system, maybe then this will become a priority.
Oh yeah,
But
it could be
currently,
looked
why would
upon.
you even freeze yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Well, not everyone is. granted, being smart. I don't know. I don't want to
True,
shit
true.
talk to everybody, but
That
some
is
people
true.
are really dumb,
That is true.
to be honest. Yeah, so pretty much some people just already froze themselves and they're like, fuck it, we'll get unfrozen one day. If not, fuck it. That's what people do, I guess. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, when the problem with people are that if they do not have the knowledge for something, they will try to theorize around it, and they would very, very much rush it.
Yeah.
And that's like the common people, which is the problem because so many people have lost their lives for really, really dumb decisions
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah. Do you remember there was this movie called 2012 where it was like the end of the
Yes,
Mayan calendar and everybody thought the world will end and stuff like that?
yes, and
So,
even the movie was made.
yeah, the movie was made. Everybody like thought that it was becoming true. So, on that day when everything was supposed to end, like a cataclysm, whatnot, everything, there were people that actually committed suicide because they didn't want, the earth to take them, so they took their
Yeah,
own lives, which I found that very, very strange. I
it
mean,
is disturbing that
yeah,
some people are ready to go to such extremes even
extends,
without
yeah,
any
exactly.
scientific proof. I mean, I understand that there is religion where
Oh yeah,
if you would believe in God or whoever or in whatever, and if you are so devoted that you would commit suicide, which in the Bible is a sin, if you believe so strongly that the world is gonna end, I don't know. I wouldn't. I cannot imagine being that extreme
yeah, that's called an
to even
extremist,
yeah, it is really beyond my understanding
Oh yeah,
how
it's
people
very, very much
in
beyond mine.
2000, yeah, even in 2012 technology was skyrocketing. It is probably we're currently, I think, at the peak of creation and new technologies being
Oh yeah,
discovered every single year.
yeah, pretty much. Well,
And
not even every single year. I think like maybe every other week you'd get something new, practically.
yeah, and to commit suicide in 2012 based on no facts,
Yeah. Well,
no
no, there was a movie.
scientific proof.
Well, there was
Well,
a
there
movie.
was a movie,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, judging by movies, I'm completely sure, by the way, for anyone wondering, I am completely sure that if at any point in the humanity's existence, if at any point aliens come to Earth, they would completely annihilate us. And nothing, I mean, nothing that happens in movies is gonna happen to us.
The
Will
funny thing
Smith
is,
is not gonna be here
oh,
to
true,
save us
true.
on the Independence Day.
Yeah, or he's
Anyway,
not gonna be there with Men in Black, to delete
yeah,
everybody's memory.
and to continue my point, um, I am not sure how there are any people that do not look at science for proof for anything because I realize that some religions and some religious people completely denounce science as a fake, and I have no idea how they do that. Like, science is what drives humanity forward, and it's been like this for thousands of years. Even the first man discovering fire, that was science.
Pretty much.
And I cannot believe there are people who denounce that and think that everything is prescripted. Like, it's just beyond me how
Yeah.
this is possible.
I think every person has their own thing which they
That is
believe in.
true. That
So
is true.
I don't know. Some people believe in science. I mean, I believe in science. To be
I
honest,
believe in
I
science.
me personally, I'm not religious. My parents are religious, but you know that doesn't make me religious. I just don't feel
Yeah.
that way. But some people find comfort in that, so I'm not gonna judge them or do anything. But if people go to extremes, that's that's yeah. I could
Yeah.
comment on that because it's the extreme. But if people find it okay to believe in something, why
Yeah.
not? That's that's anybody, you know. Anybody
Yep.
can have that thought. So
Okay, so let's switch the topic from the end of the world to something more, something more that people will relatively enjoy.
something more
Food.
bright. Oh yeah, food.
And did you know that there was recently 3D printed steaks that were actually cooked and eaten?
I've heard about 3D printed things like meat, but not in the food industry. I've heard it in the medical industry that they 3D printed like hearts and stuff like that and lungs, but I haven't heard
Yeah.
about it in food. That's
I
interesting.
I,
Tell me more.
recently, I think a month ago, I read an article about a 3D printed steak that was basically incredibly dry. It was like eating sand, but it had proteins somehow in it. I have no idea how this is even possible.
Well,
As far as I know, 3D printers work on the base of whatever materials you give the 3D printer. He is gonna print the item you want to print in the particular material.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm not sure what how do you insert steak into into a 3D printer to print out steak, or
Um,
does it work like this? Because
maybe
I'm
you'd
not
have to like,
very familiar with.
I don't know, maybe you'd have to like, um, maybe mash it and decompose the steak, and you could put it in like, how they make sausages.
Yeah,
So you could do that, but in a very thin layer, like what
but
they do
that's
with
so weird.
plastic.
Why would you
I don't.
destroy a steak
I
if you are gonna make a new steak? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure how
Maybe
3D
it's
printers
storage.
exactly work.
Well, normally they work with plastic, so they have
Yeah, I
like
know
big
they
rolls of
work with
plastic
plastic, but
which get heated up, so the plastic becomes moldable. But I don't know how a
yeah,
steak can become moldable, even if
I
it's
don't know.
hot,
And I
which
was
is
so
weird
excited to actually taste it because for I mean
for any food
probably
lover.
no one actually knows, but I'm a really big food enthusiast. I like to taste everything. I mean not everything, but foods.
Most
I like
things.
to taste foods. And I would so much like to taste this bland, completely tasteless steak.
You should go to the beach, pick up some sand, and just try it. It might have the same
Pick up
effect.
some sand and then do my do my
Might
yeah,
as well. It just
just
might have the
lick the
same effect.
sand, and
But
I'm gonna be like, so this is how 3D printed steak tastes like.
no, I'm not. I wouldn't get caught doing that. No,
Yeah,
there was
definitely.
this thing which was, I think it was quite popular. I think it was in the past 10 years, which was molecule food or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
So it's like food in like cubes, in like small cubes,
Yeah,
which are like injected with molecules from some food. So it's like Jello.
yeah.
Just
I
like
mean, I guess there are a lot of ways to actually improve world hunger
oh yeah,
currently, or at least they are coming with new ways. Even 3D printed steaks aren't that bad of an idea.
yeah, kind of. Well, that's transportation. You could transport it on your spaceship. I don't know. You could 3D print your
Quite
steak.
possibly.
Could take a lot less space. You never know.
Yeah, maybe one day we're not gonna have any world hunger because of there are constantly 3D printed steaks
You never know.
are eaten. Maybe
Hopefully, they're
that's
not made out of sand. So we cure
yeah.
world hunger one day.
If they are made out of sand, would you be more concerned of eating a steak made out of sand or going to a beach where there is no more sand?
I don't. Here, like in the UK, most of the beaches have like stones.
Really?
Yeah, so they don't really have sand in most of the beaches. I'm not sure.
Oh well,
I've been like only to
I'm
one.
not going to a beach
Yeah,
in the
it's kind of
UK.
you step on it. So in the summer when you go to the beach and it's like very hot, and you step on the sand and you burn your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well they don't have that here in the UK.
Hmm.
You step on the stones and they fuck up your leg. You're like ouch. You start running
Yeah.
because you don't want to hurt your leg.
Well, in the UK, there's not really any sun for you to go, ah, this is hot.
True.
So,
True.
this is the first thing.
Yeah.
By the way, today, no, not today, yesterday, or was it today? No, I think yeah, it was yesterday. The weather was amazing.
Was it really? It was raining the whole day with
For me it was raining today, but yesterday it was completely awesome. It's like 17 degrees.
Oh no, it was raining.
And we're talking about Celsius because, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people use Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
and I
I'm
have
sorry. I don't know
no
how
idea
to.
about
I don't know how to
Fahrenheit.
convert that.
No, as far as I know, Fahrenheit is like much higher numbers than
Mhm.
Celsius, and then Kelvin
Yeah.
is like the lowest
Yeah,
numbers.
Kelvin is minus 127 or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
have no idea.
A bold statement. Yeah. It's been raining for me for like the past, I'd say, 12 hours plus. It's been raining. So I don't know. We don't live that far apart. We live like on a
Yeah.
2-hour train ride.
Well, I guess 2 hours
So 2 hours
for us.
is, sun. The difference between sunshine and
Yeah.
nice British weather. No, it's been raining, I think, for the past 1 or 2 days here for me. So it's been pretty good.
All right, so we just passed the hour mark, and I guess this is. I mean, we talked a lot of we talked about a lot of things today, so I
Technology
think it is a good time to actually call it
for
for
this
this
episode, yeah.
part of the Unintended Podcast. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in if you watch this live on Twitch. And for those watching in YouTube and hopefully SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify
We're
soon,
working on that.
which, yeah, we're working on that. But if you are watching this on YouTube or listening to this, and you're listening to this on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify, thank you so much for listening. You can always tweet us at unintended which is probably one of the most horrible Twitter ads I've ever heard of. But what can you
After the
do?
Twitter
Twitter
ban,
gave
I
it
can't
to
I
us.
can't even be bothered about that.
Yeah. Anyway, you can always tweet us at unintended and you can always leave a comment in the specific location you're listening the podcast from. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we're gonna see you next time with a very, very cool topic, which we're not gonna reveal before the next podcast. This is Jay and Matthew signing out.
Thank you very much,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Oh wait, weren't we gonna do the like
Okay, we should do
3,
it.
2, 1?
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
cut it and you can fix it. Okay.
Okay. Three,
So,
3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye. It still sounds
Yeah,
horrible.
okay,
It's
okay. You want to do it
okay.
again? So 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.
Or do we do it? Bye.
I don't know.
Okay, let's try.
Okay, let's do. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, it's horrible. Let's go.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.